Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rise of the Phoenix. I'm an avid Lord of the Rings Rise to War player who is doing his best to try and learn everything I can about Rise of Kingdoms before June 20th, which is the date that the group that I'll be playing this game with is going to make our jumper accounts, and I need your help learning about the commanders in this game. If you know a lot about the game, or just want to make fun of my probably terrible predictions on the strength of commanders, stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. This will be the first in a new series of videos that I thought might be a little bit of fun. I'm going to go through the commanders a few at a time and give my prediction on how good or bad I think this commander is. Hopefully you guys will give me some feedback on this down in the comment section below. It's kind of a way for me to learn all of the commanders, all of their skills, make some fun predictions that will probably be wrong, and then you guys can help me learn which commanders are good, which commanders are bad, or just flat out make fun of my predictions. So we'll start things off with Cao Cao, I believe that is how you say his name. He has the cavalry, peacekeeping, and mobility skill trees. I actually haven't even fully learned all of the skill trees yet, although I do understand the general idea of them all. His first skill, Dragon Rider, deals direct damage to the target. So if anybody can explain what damage factor means down in the comment section below, that would be awesome as well, because I'm just not exactly sure what this means. I assume a higher damage factor is better, as in more damage. Anyway, deals direct damage, reduces the attack by 20%, and march speed by 5%. That goes all the way up to a 40% attack reduction, which seems quite significant. That means that's almost half. 50% damage reduction would be half damage for 3 seconds. Seems pretty good so far. The Chinzo army, I believe that's how you would say that. Troops led by this commander deal 10% damage against barbarians. Seems pretty decent for farming barbarians, especially if that goes up to 50%. Cavalry units led by this commander gain increased march speed and increased attack. Okay, I definitely like that. I'm a big fan of movement speed in games and having the ability to outmaneuver my opponent. Normal attacks have a 10% chance, not a very high chance, to heal a portion of slightly wounded units, restore 50 rage. Okay, I do like that, because that means you're going to have more uptime on Dragon Rider, which seems pretty nice. Increases troops' march speed again by 20% for 3 seconds, once every 5 seconds. So I feel like the healing portion of this skill is not why it's good, because a 10% chance only happening every 5 seconds and doesn't seem like it heals that much, although I don't know what healing factor 500 is as far as a baseline goes. However, the rage portion and the march speed portion do seem pretty cool. So it seems like, in general, Cao Cao is going to have a lot of march speed if he is using full cavalry, which I imagine he probably would. Art Emperor of Wu Wei, cavalry units gain 25% increased attack at the expense of 10% reduced defense. So the net benefit there for Cao Cao's army would be 15%, because dealing 25, taking 10 more, do the math, that's 15%. Okay, overall, Cao Cao does not stand out to me as a particularly powerful commander, I want to say, at least not for PvP. The peacekeeping tree, as far as I understand, is for killing barbarians. Cavalry gives cav buffs. I assume mobility makes him move around faster. So for purely PvP perspective, I'm going to say Cao Cao's probably something like B tier. As far as farming barbarians goes, he actually seems very solid, because he's going to be moving around very rapidly, which means you can really knock out a whole bunch of barbarians back to back to back with all of this increased march speed, plus just this flat damage against barbarians. So gathering seems F tier, no gathering bonuses. PvP probably something like B tier. And for farming barbarians, the only negative I can see of him in that regard is I don't think he'd have a way to barb chain, as this is just a single target damage skill there. Although I suppose you could put him with somebody who has an AoE effect and chain barbs that way. But for farming barbarians, I'd say he's probably somewhere in the A tier, potentially S tier. Moving on to Minamoto no Yoshitsune, with my very bad Japanese pronunciation. Minamoto no Yoshitsune. Anyway, however you pronounce that. If somebody knows how to pronounce that, please do let me know. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this skill here. Deals direct damage, 50% chance to deal extra damage for 2 seconds. Seems okay, I guess. Unless it deals like a ton of damage. There's no extra debuff or buff or anything like that here. So seems kind of so far. Cav gets increased march speed and increased attack. I do like that. Master of Kendo, another damage boost against barbarians. We have Warlord, normal attacks have a 10% chance to increase damage taken by 10% for 3 seconds. I do like debuffs like this because if multiple people are engaging one target, which I think is going to happen a lot in this game based on some of the large-scale PvP fights that I have seen, this means that you're potentially buffing 4, 5, 20 people by debuffing the enemy. Everybody engaging that target is going to be doing more damage. So that does seem quite solid. 30% damage increase at max level. And we have an enhancement to his first skill that I have no idea how to pronounce. So this, we'll just read the with expertise one. Deals, seems like way more damage and a very high chance to deal extra damage per second. So just magnifies his very first ability, which I wasn't that excited about. He has the Cav Peacekeeping and skill trees. For PvP, I'm going to maybe say he's A tier, potentially, because he does have the skill tree. He does have this that can help everybody around him. And hopefully with the upgraded version of his first skill, it will deal a significant amount of damage. As far as barbarians, he seems quite solid against barbarians as well, like Cao Cao. The increased march speed for Cav, extra damage against barbarians. So against barbarians, he's probably like A tier. And of course, for gathering, no gathering buffs, we will say he is F tier. All right, Richard the Lionhearted, or just the Lionheart. Although I think in history, call him the Lionhearted. Infantry, garrison, and defense seems like a pretty solid lineup as far as PvP goes. We have Soul of the Crusaders, heals some dudes, debuffs up to 5 enemy troops, reducing their damage and march speed. Definitely really like that. Huge AoE. Well, maybe the AoE is not that big, but debuffing 5 enemy armies with 30% reduced damage. That is a pretty considerable damage reduction going out. Chivalry, troops gain increased counterattack damage and take less damage, so overall 15% less damage, while also counterattacking for a bit more. It seems like a really nice synergy with his first skill, because healing generally scales well with damage reductions. Like when you're taking less damage, you're healing effectively more. That's generally how the math works out. Infantry gets 5% increased attack speed and increased defense, so even more tankiness here, and able to amplify that healing a bit more as well. Battle-hardened troops receive 10% increase to healing and take 10% less from watchtowers. Now, I assume you only get hit by watchtowers when you're attacking an enemy city. I'm not actually sure if watchtowers just shoot if you're in the vicinity. The extra healing seems pretty decent, and could go well with commanders that have AoE heals, if there are those types of commanders. I believe I've read some AoE healing skills. I've tried to do like pretty much zero research going into this video series, so that's as pure and raw as possible. And we have Tyrannical Lion. Troops led by this commander take 5% less damage from all sources, seems pretty good. All infantry units deal 2% increased damage to cav, and every 10 seconds the target's march speed is reduced by 50%. So pretty much nobody is ever going to be running away from this guy. It certainly doesn't seem like it, at least. He has this march speed reduction up here, this march speed reduction up there. So it seems like if this guy catches you, you are going to be brawling with a very tanky army. Hopefully you don't have cavalry, because as far as I understand, infantry already counter cavalry. And then with this on top of that, your cav probably won't be able to run away, and you're going to get ground down over time as he's reducing your damage, buffing his guys' defense. You're just lessening how much damage they take in general. So overall for PvP, this guy is potentially S tier material, I would guess. He works with infantry, which, as far as I understand, is very free to play and low spender friendly. He doesn't have anything specific to barbarians or gathering, so he's probably not particularly phenomenal in either of those regards, but he seems very, very nice for PvP. Seems like the kind of commander I would really enjoy running if I end up playing an infantry civilization. And I think 4 commanders per video probably makes the most sense, just for time constraints. So Charles Martel, we have another infantry garrison defense lineup there. Troops deal 10% increased damage for 4 seconds, gain a shield, which can absorb a large amount of damage. Now that does not say exactly how much damage a large amount is. I feel like the usefulness of this skill will be based pretty much entirely on how much damage that actually absorbs. So I feel like this could be super nice if it actually absorbs a large amount. If it just kind of goes away, then maybe meh, but definitely doesn't seem like the worst skill. Infantry gain increased defense and increased health. Now I've been told that health is probably the worst stat for your the best stat for your units. My Rise to War brain is taking over there for a second. When Rise to War attack is amazing, I've heard that in Rise of Kingdoms, health is amazing. So if that is true, this seems like a very solid skill. And when he's leading the garrison, they gain increased attack, and watchtowers gain increased defense. Seems like a pretty solid option there for a garrison commander. Increased counterattack damage, and infantry led by this commander gain 20% increased defense, 20% increased health, and 20% increased march speed. So that buffs up this skill here, if I'm understanding it correctly. So it's just an additional 5% on top of the 15%, and then also the march speed. I'm not sure how important march speed is for infantry. I don't think they're ever going to catch cavalry without some kind of snares in play anyways. But for chasing down archers, for maneuvering around the battlefield, I could see that being pretty handy. Overall, it's kind of hard to tell where this guy would fall, just because I don't know exactly how much Shield of Francia is going to absorb. So I'll cautiously say that this guy is probably like A tier for PvP. Doesn't seem particularly stellar at barbarians, and certainly is not good for gathering. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about my predictions down in the comment section below, and if you'd like to see more videos of this style where you guys get to help me learn about Rise of Kingdoms. I'll see you in the next one. Rise of the Phoenix, over and out.